Let's do that. And Rob McLean. If I rule the world, imagine that. I free all my sons. Yo, what's up, people? This is episode 39. This is Sports Debate Tuesday, along with my dude, Rob. Keep it McLean. McLean, I am Jason DeBiz. Thank you for having us in your living room and in your life. We got a little bit to cover, and we got a lot bit to cover. Some pretty fun, shame or no shame. Quick questions, going to be more elongated so we could cover more subject matter. A lot of football in our lives. UFC, Khabib. Dominates Justin Gaethje, retires. So we're going to have our reaction as well as reaction to certain UFC fighters. But first things first, we're going to go to NFL Pick 6, Rob McLean. NFL Pick 6. We got a bunch of fun ones this week. But first things first, we have to do the numbers for last week. And they're going to pop up on our edit. But here we go, just the same. Justin Stack. 4-2, man. Congratulations. Cool beans, buddy. Rob, you're 3-3, broke off even. And everybody, I am 2-4. So my combined record is 16-18-1. Rob's is 20-14-1, and the host and the guest, who are still leading us, are 22-12-1. So still a lot of fun. Me, the more chances I take, the more I'm just gonna lose, and and it might be one of those seasons for me, just like fantasy, man. My fantasy season right now, Rob, is just forget it. I'm just gonna use the COVID excuse, man. It just sucks. It just sucks. I was a leading scorer in my fantasy league every single year, and right now I'm like 3-3 and sucking. So this week our guest is Travis Muirwater. What's up, man? Travis Muirwater is going to be part of our Pick 6, and here we go. Rob McLean, let's start the Pick 6. The first game is going to be the Falcons against the Panthers. Rob, who's going to win?
I got to go with the Panthers on this one. I mean, I thought they looked really good about 3 weeks ago. Last week they looked great. Didn't quite come out with it, but I really like the way that team looks. So I'm gonna go with the Panthers on this one.
I am tired of betting on the Falcons and losing. I am. This is the new accident waiting to happen. I mean, that's going to be part of our shame or no shame. So we'll talk about that later. But I just don't trust them anymore. I mean, they're also going to be in an argument for like the best 1-5 team, right? I mean, we're going to have a little discussion about that maybe. No, I got to go with you. I'm going Panthers. And Travis Muirwater is going Panthers. Good for him. Panthers. All right. So next game, Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders are visiting the Cleveland Browns and the Dog Pound. I'm going to go first on this one, Rob. Baker Mayfield. If Odell Beckham Jr. was in this game, I probably would have given the Raiders a chance, but now that he's not, the chemistry is better between the quarterback and his wide receivers. Mayfield goes wild again at home. I pick the Browns.
I mean, I think the Browns are doing great things, but I also believe that OBJ was somewhat of a lifeblood of their team, as much as people don't want to admit it. So I think that it's going to go the opposite way. So I'm going to have to go against the Browns on this one.
I know. I'm so disrespectful, right?
It's all right. I think Raiders got a fantastic run game, and couple that with Derek Carr,
doing good things,
like
man.
The Raiders on this one.
Doing good things, right? Bounce back game from the Bucs. And Travis, who'd you pick? Mr. Muirwater? Where is he? Sorry. Oh, this is why. There we go. Travis picks. He's picking with you. He's picking the Raiders. Cool. All right, Rob. Game 3 of our Pick 6 features the Rams going to Miami. Now you go. That's yours. Who do you got?
I just, Aaron Donald destroys offenses, and for Tua being his first game, I think this is one of the tough games for him to go in and play. So I think it's going to be the Rams.
You know what? For me, I should have had the shame or no shame one of the categories of benching Fitzpatrick for Tua. That sucked because it was the first time that I saw Fitzpatrick play after he had a contract, ball out after he had a contract. And he is fan friendly and he's player friendly. And I guess if you're going to draft someone in the first round, right, you got to know if it's worth it. And Tua is going to take his lumps on this one, man. I got to go with the visiting team on this one. I'm going with the Rams. I think Donald runs wild. And our man Travis Muir is also going to go Rams.
I would love for us all to be wrong, and then Tua just lights up the field.
Me too. So. Me too. I mean, I'm sure Fitz would too. Fitz would love to be wrong about that too. Game number 4, we have the Steelers and the Ravens visiting the Ravens, and I'm going to go first on this one. The Ravens, even when they weren't a great team, were always tough to beat at home. They're well coached, they're well prepared, and I would say Mike Tomlin's 1A to Bill Belichick's 1. But if you look at the last 8 times they played each other, it's like no matter who it was and how the situation was, the Ravens have always won or played this game tight. I've never seen the Ravens get blown out in this thing. I'm going with the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like what the Ravens are doing, but for me, I've gone against the Steelers too many times, and I think T.J. Watt is just one of the best players on defense in the league right now. So
did he blow up Derrick Henry or what?
Man.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any reason that they won and hung on that game, man, they made Derrick Henry run a stingy 70 yards.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
crazy. and he still broke his good plays too.
Yep.
So yeah, I'd have to go with the Steelers on this one. I just like Ben Roethlisberger being there, being consistent. You're always going to be able to put up 20, 24, 30 points. With him there, so you got that great defense. It's a tough team to beat. So Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Travis Muirwitter goes with the Ravens. He's going with me on this one. Good job, Travis.
We know why on that one, though.
Yeah, well, I wonder why, right? Between him and Jeff Schitzel.
It's not a terrible pick. I'm just saying.
No, it isn't. So, speaking of terrible picks, we have the Patriots visiting the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. I'm going to go – no, you go – I think you go first on this one.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I think it's Buffalo. I think they're a team who, it's sad to say, plays to the level of their competition. They make the tough games tough, and what we'd say the tougher games maybe easier. And they, play their best football against the best teams, and they play their worst football against the worst teams. So I see them playing at a top flight level against a team that used to be seen as the standard, and I think they blow out the Patriots. So I'm going with the Bills on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills on this one too, and I'll tell you this: the Bills have been the Patriots' favorite beat-up toy. You would think in the division it's the Jets, but for anyone that's looked really, really closely under the Rex Ryan era, at least the Jets have split the difference against the Patriots and even beat them in the second round of the playoffs to get to the AFC Championship game. But whenever the Patriots need a win, it seems like Buffalo's always there when they need them, and I'm optimistic, if not hopeful, that there's a shift in the change and the balance of power in the AFC East. And if Buffalo doesn't find a way to win this game, then maybe they weren't who I thought they were, right? Maybe it's a coach thing, or maybe Josh Allen isn't our guy, and I really think Josh Allen is, and I'm going with the Buffalo Bills on this. And Travis Muirwitter co-signs with the both of us. He's also going to go with the Buffalo Bills. Last game of our pick 6. Speaking of tough picks and picking against people, we're going to go with the Saints, the New Orleans Saints visiting the Bears. I'll go first on this one. 1, 2, tell me who are you? The Bears. 3, 4, tell me who's gonna score? The Bears. He's like, you silly man. Why would I ever pick against the Saints? I'll tell you why, because I'm tired of being a 500 pick 6 player. I'm tired of being an under 500 pick 6 player, and I'm tired of going against a team that makes me feel like an ass every time I pick against them. I'm going with Bears, and I'm going with my boy. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Foles. Dun, 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 dun. Who you got, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to co-sign with you there. Like the Bears, I feel like Khalil Mack is one of my favorite players in the league, and I like what that defense does. And then on the other side, Foles is just consistent. I'm not saying he's going to put up 50 points a game, but he's just, again, 30 points average. May throw a TD, may throw a couple bad passes, but he's going to lead his pass. He's going to lead his wide receivers into open areas, and he's a great quarterback. And I think it's about time they actually had a great quarterback on that team. So
yeah,
got to go with the Bears yet again.
Going with the Bears on that. Good receiving core, decent running game, great coaching. I mean, big up to Matt Nagy, right? I mean, usually when you win, it's the players. When you lose, the coaches highlighted. But this time, we're going to take the time and highlight the coaches. And highlighting Travis Murito on this one. Travis is going to think the Saints are going to go march in and get that number and win. So he's going with the Saints. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our segment of NFL Pick 6. And we're definitely, during the episode, stick with us. We're going to explore a whole bunch of NFL, particularly in the section of quick question, because some of those quick questions are not going to be quick answers. And if anything that spills into dialogue, you and me can definitely do that. But now we're going to move towards the combat sports dimension, highlighting MMA, highlighting the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Rob McLean. Khabib Nurmagomedov. Wanted Justin Gaethje, who beat Tony Ferguson and took Tony's gatekeeper status away and wanted a title shot. Khabib granted it. They fought over the weekend. Tony hit him with a lot of hard shots. Khabib not only ate it, but dominated the hell out of it on this match and ended up winning with a triangle choke that I don't know was wound up a technical submission or if the ref just missed the tap. Something looked like a tap twice, but we can discuss that. So your reaction to Khabib winning this match, and then we'll delve into him retiring, or actually no, your thoughts and your reaction to his win, and also your reaction to just him retiring and maybe reflecting a little bit on his career. Rob McLean, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I was surprised because I thought he was going to do another scheduled fight. I'm guessing this is like a proposition to GSP to make that fight happen. But I thought it was a phenomenal fight. I thought that Khabib looked worlds different on the feet than I've ever seen him in other fights. Fighting behind the jab, right. Really having a good combination, a 1-2, good foot movement. It seemed like he actually wanted to stay on his feet, and he really disguised being able to switch levels and go after the takedown. So, and then for him to, I say this all the time too, or to myself at least, but when a wrestler can, or a jiu-jitsu player can, fighter can master their ground game to where they're able to stand up like a Brian Ortega. And then you're able to start to get creative in your stand-up. It's only going to allow you to take down your opponent easier and wind up in situations where, you see these guys that are great on jiu-jitsu masters or wrestling greats that they can get the guy down, but they can't do anything there. Or if they could get him down, they could do a lot, but they can't get him to the ground. There's like a science to it where if you just focus on one aspect and let, the aspect of stand up and allow that to lead to your takedown game, you're going to be in situations, they're going to be tired. They're going to be thinking about other things, about resting, about taking time off while you're getting into your game. And I'm sure Khabib would never have thought of, triangle choking, Justin Gaethje on the ground. I'm sure he wanted to knock him out, but the situation literally just like it was the easiest situation to roll into. And, he made it happen and he was not getting out of that. But most of the times Khabib doesn't necessarily go for that. He goes for punishing for a round or, making him, go to deep waters, as he say. So I think that his ability to take his striking game to a whole nother level just opened up so many opportunities for him to finish fights on the ground again. So, yeah, so much up to him. I really wish he would fight more or that, he was able to, because I know there was a long time where Khabib wasn't getting the opportunity to fight for that championship belt. especially when Conor McGregor was getting pushed and people thought like, hey, why this guy's been doing everything? He's undefeated. Why doesn't he get the push like Conor McGregor does? So, big ups to him for, keeping his head down and keeping pushing. And so I wish this would have happened a long time ago. He might have actually easily been known as the greatest because, just his maturation from last fight to this fight, from all the fights we've seen him before. If this could happen a long time ago, I don't see why he wouldn't be the greatest. I don't think he is the greatest.
That's gonna be our next question, and down in a minute.
But just I won't touch on it yet. But with his retirement, I guess I didn't see it coming. I understand why it is now, but I wish he'd fight for a couple more years. I wish. I think a couple of super fights would be. Is definitely in his.
I would have loved to
realm.
see Tony. I would have just
once.
It wasn't meant to happen. I get that, but I would have loved to see him in Ferguson.
But yet again, I think he's maybe leaving the door open in a sense where if Tony really believes, and I don't think it'll ever happen because I just don't think he's on that level. No disrespect, but if Tony ever really, in the next year or two can solidify his, hold on this group of fighters, because I think it's still wide open between Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson, Dustin Poirier, even Conor McGregor. I think it's all kind of wide open where you could be any one of those guys could dominate for the next year or two and maybe entice Khabib to come out of retirement for a super fight, for a belt unification or a belt, a title fight or some sort of thing. So be interesting to see.
Rob, keep it McLean. First, to watch this man dominate a Division I All-American, an absolute savage, a fighter that you never really saw him use as wrestling in MMA, but you've never seen, almost never, if ever. I can't even remember seeing Justin Gaethje on his back ever, and at least certainly not for more than 10 seconds. To watch this man dominate someone in his wheelhouse, to watch this man eat the strikes from someone who sleeps, it looks like he sleeps people dead. Like if you saw him stiffen up Barboza and this other guy who's in the middle of the rankings who escapes me, but someone watching us will come up with it. To watch him go against someone that has a reputation for sleeping someone, for watching someone who said he would rather go out than tap, actually watch the guy tap and then go out, is incredible. Is incredible. Throughout this man's career, he came into the UFC undefeated, 12 matches, and in the 12-0 in the UFC, but came in and then everything said about him, he's a decision machine. But the higher the level, the caliber of fighters that he fought, the more that they ended in finishes. Think about it. We'll turn back from present to past. Gaethje, triangle choke. So confident that he was willing to go on his back to sink the triangle choke. He started from the top, sunk sideways, confident. Submitted Dustin Poirier. Actually got out of a guillotine choke himself that I thought was pretty tight by Dustin. Gets out of that. Submits Dustin Poirier. Ragdolls Conor McGregor into submission into the fourth round. A lot of people are like, he was lucky in this and that. That is just, there's no such thing as luck in 4 rounds. Lucky is you get caught in 13 seconds and those things happen, right? You and whatever. No, in a match that I thought he won the stand-up. Conor won, they said Conor won third round, and we'll all agree that that third round was Conor's best round in the match. And let's call it a win. Whatever, everyone, I'll jump on that bandwagon fallacy. It's popular, so it must be true. Even though the strike differential is different. They only got to drop Conor with a shot. So I mean, Michael Johnson. Armbar or Kimura, all of these, and even the people that he did not submit, Rob, they quit before the match was over. This man has a way, his style makes your body quit. You're in between rounds and your coach is trying to tell you something and you're telling your coach, dude, I'm freaking trying. You got fighters that are looking at the coach like, I can't. You look at the coaches give the fighter instructions, and Khabib tells the coach, "This is Ayaquinta. That's good advice, but he's not going to win." Talking shit on coaches. So that's one, to see somebody do that and do it in dominant fashion in this single match, fine. Which leads me to my second thing. Him retiring, I saw coming because he made a promise to his mother. And whether this man has $1 million or whether this man has $1.50 in his pocket, the one thing that did not change about him, money changed Conor a little bit. He didn't seem as hungry. Money changed this person. Money changed that person. Money does not change this man's word. It is my core belief that this man is a man of his word. And he told his mom, "This is my last match." And that's why I don't think he's coming back. Which leads me to my third thing that's segue to leading to this conversation, because I want to close up on Khabib before we talk about potential title matches. As to the question of, is he the greatest of all time? Now, when you think of GOATs, we think of Anderson Silva. We think of John Jones. You have to. His only loss was a DQ, which is his most dominant performance. You have to. And you think of George Rush St. Pierre, who retired the champion, came back, went up a weight class, did a service to humanity, and shut up Michael Bisping. The question as to whether he's the greatest of all time or not, I'd like to revisit this in the future, but if you ask me today, because we're kind of doing a first take here, I'd say yes. I have never seen him lose a round, except the argument we can make about Conor McGregor beating him the third round. I have never seen him in a split decision, except with Gleison Tebow, and the judges were on crack. Look at George St. Pierre. Match against Johnny Hendricks. A lot of people thought Johnny Hendricks won that match before he retired. Look at John Jones. Me and you agree that Dominic Reyes, under the rules of MMA, Dominic Reyes won that match. Not to mention a split decision that a lot of people thought Santos won. I don't think so. I think Jones won that. Not to mention a close decision against Gustafsson, and I thought Gustafsson did not win that. I thought Jones won that. But all of these things are questions. John Jones, undisputed championship is in dispute. Okay? So no, he's not my GOAT, which leads me to George St. Pierre. That's the argument I want to make. The guy came out of retirement and never competed in 185 and scored a submission round over a guy who does not tap and does not, Michael Bisping does not tap. In fact, he went out, right? He went out. He didn't tap. He went out on a crossbar rear naked choke by GSP. So I'm going to ask you the question, but my answer is right now, and I admit I might be a prisoner of the moment. It's Khabib. Your thoughts? Who? If Khabib is not the GOAT, then who?
I mean, for me, at the moment, it would be Khabib. It's always hard to say. I mean, it would be GSP. It's hard to say, like, of course, in their primes and what they do, but it just, for me, like, I think GSP would at least be able to, because, every round we got to stand up. He'd at least be able to, half the round, be able to stand up with him at a better rate. And then on his back, he'd be at least a bit more intelligent than most of his opponents. And then GSP, I feel like, has had to evolve his game many times, and wow. For me, Khabib hasn't necessarily been pushed to that area. And let's say when he does get pushed to that, not deeper waters, but like the intelligence of fighting in a different fashion to maximize your strengths, it's different. And I just think that, whether it's a fight with Matsera or, whether it's a fight with, a guy like Bisping or, just any type of changes that GSP has had to change, maximize what he is great at, which is, being adjustable, being, able to change his style at any time in the fight. So I just think that it's a perfect formula against a Khabib, but, still, right at this moment, GSP is how much older, has been out of the game for how much longer. And Khabib is the one that's now evolving and changing and doing better. So I think at the moment, yeah, if you're going to fight them against each other, Khabib would win. But in their primes, going from where GSP left off and where now Khabib is leaving off, I'm going with GSP for sure.
Yeah, fun argument though. Fun argument,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, you want to talk about people that have not been trained in the classic style of American wrestling. And if you had to pick me the best wrestler in 170 and the best wrestler in 155, it's GSP and Khabib. Though I mean, listen, Kamaro's a savage, and like you said, I mean, for those people out there who are soft as cotton, who think us picking some people as a slap in the face to the other, we're not doing that, and you can go kick rocks. It's not what I'm talking about. Yeah, I love that argument. I love that argument. Conspicuous by its absence. I've been searching for our to shame or not to shame. So now I'm going to have to find it. Oh, no, there's a third segue to this. Who do you think, what match makes sense for to crown a new champ? The title's now vacant. So to me, what match or I don't know. For me, I'm gonna give you a hint on mine. I'd like a semifinals and finals. But what match? What two people competing for the title to crown a new champ makes sense to you?
I mean, I agree with you. Like, definitely, a double interim, and then an interim fight would probably be, the most notable because there's so many people,
make money.
Up there,
And it would make money.
Yeah, and it would make money, absolutely. But if I had to choose one of the top four people that I think are in that discussion, I would probably go with a Gagey Poirier, or
and Ferguson and Connor.
right? Why not? Let's make it happen.
Same night. That would be the highest. That wouldn't even be for the title. Put those two put those four in the semis and finals.
Right.
If the UFC, if everyone's about big fights, what?
Yeah, right. But like the way it is right now, where Poirier has a fight scheduled, quote unquote, with Conor McGregor. It was supposed to be a charity fight, and now it's supposed to be an actual offered UFC fight between McGregor and Poirier. Do you run back, Gagey and Tony Ferguson, because Tony was caught off guard, with a last second change to a championship level fighter. I don't think that's too far fetched either. I definitely think Tony has fought enough and has made enough fights. Has come maybe short notice or even just fought.
He's won as many.
He hasn't had to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's won as many as Khabib did. They both won 12 in a row in the UFC.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. So, put a little bit of steam behind his reputation and, put him up against Gagey with a full training camp. I'm sure Gagey would love to, especially if the other two guys are already in a fight and there's not anything deterring for an intern champion or a full-on championship. I'm sure Gagey would love the chance at getting another chance at the championship.
And I'm sure Tony would love a run back Khabib. Too. Tony took that fight on short notice, and he he prepared against a wrestler. He didn't prepare against a guy that would punch his lights out, and Justin Gaethje didn't punch his lights out, but those hard hits looked like death of 1,000 cuts. It looked like it was only a matter of time, and we have never. Look, Tony didn't look like Tony, and I'm not trying to say that Gaethje didn't have anything to do with it, right? Like if your eyes swole shut, it's because someone punched you in it. I get it, but he didn't look himself from the beginning. I want to see that run back. 12 in a row. Come on, if Conor could get his run back against Nate Diaz, Gaethje could. Tony deserves one match to get to the title. I don't care if it's Conor. I don't care if it's Dustin. And I don't care if it's Gaethje, but I would love to see Gaethje against Dustin, and I would love to see Conor against Ferguson. That is because that's a fight you need extra security for. And come on, fans like that esh.
But yeah, if I'm talking personally, I would love to see Poirier versus Gaethje.
Because of their boxing, right? I mean,
Yep.
that's a run back because they fought before. And if for people who are new to this or just old farts like me who forget, they fought and Poirier won in the TKO third round. So people forget that, but that was a candidate for fight of the year. And the
Like
other
a
candidate for
5
fight of
round
the
of
year,
that. Oh my.
yeah, but the other candidate for fight of the year was Gaethje and Alvarez. The man isn't what. Okay, listen, he's a human fight of the year candidate. That's right. A guy got 9 bonuses in 7 fights. Come on. So, wow. So great discussion about MMA, and I'm glad we covered that. Big up to Whitaker, who bounced back, won 2 rounds to 1 clean against Cannonier. And big up to Cannonier for representing himself because he didn't look himself until he just let loose. And, he looked like he was trying to find a way to eke out, he wasn't going for a decision at that point. He was already down 2-0. So I like fighters that don't. Doesn't that piss you off? Sometimes a fighter's down maybe like 2 rounds to 0, and you're like, come on, man. You're already losing. Go for it. And they don't. They stand up against, not Cannonier, man. Cannonier, man. I love watching that guy fight. Big up to Avasa. Knocked out, slept Stefan Struve. That was just a big tower coming down like a ton of bricks, and Stefan Struve.
No offense to him, but man, Struve, man,
yeah.
He's been in it too long, man.
Yeah, he's been out of it. I think he's been out of it too long too, right?
Yeah,
you got to.
He's had his injuries, and he's gone from a lightweight to a heavyweight, but he's been a heavyweight for a couple of years now.
No, Struve.
And, nothing against him, but
that dude comes in at 265, man. He ain't no way
he's a big dude.
Yeah. 6'11". He's 6'11", dude.
85-inch reach.
Look, Mark Hunt. Can you imagine how
to
far up Mark Hunt had to punch to knock him out like a few years ago?
That's Tui Tuivasa had
Same
to
thing.
punch like over his head.
But
crazy.
Right, you picture in your head like Tuivasa's like Mark Hunt with black hair. So,
that's what I'm thinking.
That was like that movie with Martin Lawrence and Tim Robbins when the mother smacked to Martin Lawrence, the son, and he's like, don't talk to your mother like that. And then she slapped upwards, like slapped Tim Robbins. You got that slap because you with him. But she did like an uppercut slap. And that's what that looked like with those guys. Man, that was just crazy. Oh, last but not least, Lauren Murphy, who went from journeywoman to contender. She won her last 4. She did this in convincing fashion. And everyone at 125, you're going to laugh at this, everyone at 125 says they want to be the champion, but you never hear anyone saying, I want to challenge Valentina. They're just hoping she goes away. They want to be the champ, but no one wants to fight Valentina to do it. Very much like Khabib. So she openly called her, so intelligently thought out. It was planned. And she won by submission. So I'm glad she went. I want good things for her because she went from journey person trying to find her way to just good coaching. And if you get a chance to watch that again, I definitely, I get ESPN Plus. We could watch that at the crib or whatever, or I could social distance a Tomos Ninja Flame to you.
Distance watch.
Yep. Well, guys, it's just during MMA, at least for now. But right now, we are going to go with to shame or not to shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame.
Oh, Rob, here we go. Let me get my clock down. Got to get my clock on like that. Let's do this. Let's do this. Oops. Let's do this. What the heck? Sorry, buddy. There you go, Rob. To shame or not to shame? Todd Gurley scoring when he wasn't supposed to, giving the Lions a chance to come back and win. To shame or no shame? You're going to be surprised at my answer, but go ahead. You're first.
I'll say, no shame, just because, the Atlanta Falcons organization has just been a joke ever since that Super Bowl loss. So I think it's just a culmination of not, just not covering all aspects. I get that he's supposed to know better and supposed to be better, but he's worried about his knee. He's trying to get, healthy every single week. Like,
Yeah.
maybe give a guy a little bit of extra work in the mental capacity. So
Yeah. Rob, for me, it looked like the Giants, Ahmad Bradshaw all over again, scoring and giving Tom Brady too much time on the clock. You can physically see he was trying not to score. It looked like he was going to go in because instinctively you want to go in and score, right? But then you remember you're not supposed to, and it was crazy because the review booth only counts when they don't want you to score. So for this guy, I say no shame because there's so many things that could happen wrong in a field goal situation, right? You could miss the snap, the field goal could go wide, the field goal could go off the upright. So me, if I'm coaching that game, I always say score and play some defense. But if he didn't, that would have been cool too because they only needed a field goal to win. So you can milk the clock a little bit more, but not so shame. Yeah, because if he slides. Rob, if he slides and doesn't score and they kick the field goal, in the end, everyone says that's a smart thing. But so many things can go wrong. And any coach, a lot of coaches, not any coach, but a lot of coaches say you score. You take the score, Shame or no shame, Rob? The Cardinals going for a field goal on second down on overtime. I'll go first on this one. I say shame on that. Like everything they've done on this, as far as the field goal attempt was concerned, was the proper thing to do if it's third down. All right. I know they lost 5 yards on a kind of a blitz on the switch off on a bootleg play, but then they got nervous. And then out of said nervousness, they didn't see the clock about to clock down to 0. So rather get a delay of game penalty, they called a timeout when he made the field goal. And they were very, very lucky that Russell threw an interception and gave the team another chance. So shame, shame, shame. You don't do that on third down, you do on second.
In the moment, absolutely shame because it's just why do anything different than you're used to doing. But at the end of the game, they came back and scored and won. So maybe it was just a coaching decision on the field that you couldn't really that we couldn't really know about, and more power to them for sticking together as a team and just delivering us a win.
Yeah, like Rob, I think the coach made the sporadic decision to go for the field goal because clearly the field goal team wasn't ready. That which I think led to them having to call a timeout to avoid the delay of game penalty, which would have been moved them 5 yards back, right? I mean, the offensive coordinator and the head coach, they got to be on cue. Like, look, we're going on for a field goal now, and definitely don't call a timeout and give your kicker a warm-up one. You don't do that. There's a reason why the other team calls a timeout because they count on the timeout getting in your head and missing it. That's why people don't call timeouts for their own team doing it. That was a good coaching, by the way. I didn't like this guy because he came into the NFL with a losing record in college. You liked him. I didn't. But he's showing me something. 5-2 right now. 5-2 right now. So Kingsbury, big up, man. And Robbie, big up to you, man. You as far as seeing things that I didn't. I mean, it is what it is. So Rob, we're going to quick questions. Quick question. Bostic's hit on Dalton. Should the Cowboys have retaliated or not?
Yes, by unwritten rules, but no, just because it's hard to pull away from a hit. I understand. It's just tough.
Me, I'm always going to say no because you don't want dumb 15-yard penalties. I say no. Quick question. Is Odell being out, ACL, the rest of the season, probably a great part of the next preseason, is Odell being out a big loss for the Cleveland Browns?
No, I think they have a great offense all around. I think this might actually make them spread the ball around a little better.
Wow. I say no for all of the reasons Rob just said. I zip it somehow, some way. And we skip on to the next one. Rob, quick question. Is Cincinnati the best 1-5 team in the league?
Well, no, just because we were talking about it before, Atlanta definitely, in my eyes, is best 1-5. But I really love Cincy.
Don't you cheer for them? Don't you cheer for this guy?
Every game. But you can just tell it's just a year or two young, maybe 2 years too. It was like Kyler Murray coming to the league. But
The best 1-5 team in the league is the Atlanta Falcons. The most exciting and interesting team you want to watch and just follow because of the way they play for their coach and the way that they play for their quarterback and the way their quarterback plays for them. Forget about these undefeated teams. Forget about these marquee matchups. Follow Cincinnati every single game till the season's over. They already lost their 2 to Cleveland, and that's too bad. And they're not in the division to exactly get a wild card spot, which is going to be one of my next question. Quick question, Rob: is the AFC North the best team in the division? I asked this before, but now Week 7, let's revisit that.
No, I don't think so.
Listen, I say yes. Undefeated Pittsburgh, Ravens, Cleveland Browns are 5-2. But if I were to lose to another division, the NFC West is wild. We thought Arizona was going to be last. They're 5-2. The Rams are playing tonight. They're probably going to win. The 49ers are good. Seattle only lost once in a game that they could have won or lost. That is, I might change my mind a week from now, but right now I give up props to AFC North. Quick question, Rob. Should Israel Adesanya, going back to the UFC, should Israel Adesanya fight Jones?
Yes, for his legacy, but I don't think that's ever going to happen.
No, he shouldn't. Too light to fight, too thin to win. John Jones is a heavyweight, right? Trying to fight heavyweight for a guy wants to come down and fight a guy who's probably going to be 200 pounds soaking wet. No, he'll establish his legacy at middleweight and stop talking ash to someone, who has to punch down. So, yep, I say no. Quick question, Rob. Are the Lakers repeat champs?
No. Good question, no.
I say yes. Quick question. Did the Dodgers seal their fate over the weekend with the gaffes and errors? I think they won last night.
I think they more sealed their fate last night. I think they're going to pull off a win tonight and and close it out in 6, but I can't. I don't want to. I'm rooting for the Rays, and I hope they pull out in 7.
I'm rooting for the Dodgers, and I don't think this error and this gaffe sealed their fate, because if you looked at the way they played baseball last night, it looked like they were just more encouraged and they rallied around each other. So, no, it did not. Quick question, Rob. Will the Patriots have a losing season?
Very possible. Very possible.
I say no. 8-8. Not a winning one either. Should McCarthy be fired from the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, after what happened last week. Oh, man. I know Dalton went down, but, man, who's losing all these people? Why are all these quarterbacks getting hurt? You know what I mean? No offense, but maybe their wide receivers aren't getting over. Maybe their running backs aren't performing, but that all goes back to the head coach, or GM or somebody. But something's wrong with that Cowboys team.
Yeah. Well, I say no. They didn't have a preseason, and they lost a lot of talent on defense. And Jerry Jones is not going to fire himself, so he's going to, rather than admit he's wrong, he's going to keep McCarthy. And I agree. I say give him a little bit more time. Should the Bucks signed Antonio Brown? Is that a good move?
Oh, absolutely. I was hyped when I heard about that. Antonio Brown, man. That's oof. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers look good. They look crisp. They look like they're coming together. So, happy to see it.
Oh, my goodness. I have to say no. I think there's already a big distribution of wide receiving talent, including the tight ends. And sooner or later, unless that man shows me that he's actually matured, which I don't think he did, he I don't know, he brings more problems than solutions, If he now the Patriots. Right. Remember when Tom Brady wanted to come to the Patriots? I thought that was a great idea, because I'm like, wow, this is the third true wide out that Brady's ever had in his career. Brady's been playing, 20 years? And he's only had, Moss? Ocho Cinco on the down end? So,
Julian Edelman was really good. He's had his share of wide receivers, but not
slot
all
guys.
Around,
Yeah.
superstar talented wide receivers. Now he's got, one, maybe two, and now going to add another one to the bunch. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I understand where you're coming from on that.
Cool. Well, that concludes a quick question. So I have a mini shout out as far as player performances. I was gonna do my boyfriend's back bigger than before again. Tom Brady, 4 touchdown passes, 369 yards passing, and 1 rushing touchdown, so 5 total. But I gotta give it up to my boy JJ Watt. When I have this. I had this rehearsed thing in my mind, but you instantly changed my mind when you just said J.J. Watt, and everything just flashed back and how he led Pittsburgh's defense. He's been leading Pittsburgh's defense. This unsung hero, the Watt, that people needed to be talking about more. Any team performances or individual performances that you saw that deserves Rob's
not
kudos?
necessarily performances, but I got to tell you one thing. There's one thing that really peeves me, man.
Please.
So I was gonna wait to the end of the show, but it is football, so
It is.
I gotta say. The quarterback slide, there's some quarterbacks that say, "Oh, like I can't slide. I can't baseball slide. I don't know how to baseball slide." Man, you guys are getting paid how many millions of dollars a year? Get a coach, figure out how to slide, because and this is why the whole problem with the whole John Bostic thing is. I feel like quarterbacks don't really show people that they're sliding, and then they kick their feet out from under them and they're falling to the ground, and then dudes hit them on the way on the ground.
Agreed.
Like it's very difficult to understand. Like it's the same thing that happened with Ben Roethlisberger a while back. Like I don't think a lot of these guys mean it that way, but if you're trying to go down half, I'm gonna hit you. If you're trying to slow down while you're going out of bounds, I'm gonna hit you.
Especially with Ben.
Exactly.
He's
and
huge.
I think that you have to know these things. Like you have to be aware of them. And then on the other end, they're creating these opportunities for you to be safe. Don't try to push the boundaries of, oh, well, I was sliding, I kind of wasn't sliding. Go down, slide. Not head first, slide. Put your feet first.
Yeah, I remember Mark Sanchez, because Rex Ryan wanted him to slide because he took some shots. Derek Jeter came, not Derek Jeter, Joe Torre came in same week, taught him how to baseball slide. And I agree, like quarterbacks, this is tackle football. I saw them call roughing the passer on a play where the quarterback became a runner. And the hitter didn't tackle him, but he led sideways with his shoulder, and they call roughing the passer. And I think that's nonsense. And I know these are the franchise people, and I know you're trying to protect them, but they have to do their part too. They have to, right? If you're trying to protect the quarterback, how about tell the quarterback, if you leave the pocket, it is at your own peril.
Protect yourself.
It is at your own peril. Someone, someone's trying to
get flushed out.
No, but someone's trying to take someone like Cam Newton down or Big Ben down. They don't go down. And next thing you know, you have to suplex their ass to take them down. And then you get roughing the passer because you took them down too hard. So 2 things got to happen. One, you got to not call that, or ref, you got to blow your whistle. As soon as that person stops the quarterback, blow the whistle, and everybody's good. But Bostic, it's his right to come in, but I didn't love that he came in with his helmet first. You can check down someone and you can hit them hard, but leading with your helmet on that was I don't know. I mean, for me, I didn't love it. I understand, like you said, right? These guys are moving almost 20 miles an hour. I can't even ride my bike 20 miles an hour, Rob. I can't even ride my bike 20 miles an hour. So, yeah, I get it. I thought it was a little much, but I'm not saying I don't get you. I get you. Last but not least, my little gaffe of the week, affectionately, I got to go to my Buffalo Bills, who they scored 18 points, but all 18 points were field goals, 6 field goals. But this is the one chance they had to score. Here it is. My guy, Beasley, Cole Beasley. What are you doing? This is my what are you doing moment. Come on. He had a Daniel Jones moment, man. Did you see that? Who hit him?
I did.
Was it you? Did you hit him? Did you hit him?
No,
Rob, did you hit him?
It was that breeze and the wind.
Oh, you're going to blame it on the breeze, right?
Oh, man, that's too funny. Yeah, I don't get why. And all you have to do is just slow down a little bit and then speed back up again. But everybody just tries to run out of it. So, hey, more off to them, I guess.
I had to do that. Listen, Rob, I'm going to do my thing to end the show, but I want you to do your thing first, Russell Simmons style. Who's your shout out? What do you got to say to the people before you leave?
I already had it, man. I mean, quarterbacks, go slide. That's all I got to say. Please, save your life.
All right. I think I'm going to do Rob's thing then. Thank you. God bless you. Good night. I feel like I'm on Def Jam comedy with you, man. Yo, listen. Rob McLean loves you guys, but I don't. I've had enough of you, all right? So for all of you at home, for all of you on your iPhones and your iPads and your Droid and your desktop, for Rob, keep it McLean. McLean, this is episode 39 of Sports Debate Tuesday. I am Jason DeBeas, and we say, we're out. And that. Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionDB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.